I enjoy using Anchor podcasting services. For one, it's an easy setup. Secondly, you can do everything on the same platform, which includes record and then add music to your podcast if you like. And once your podcast has been saved, you can then distribute it to other platforms with the click of a button. And did I mention that it's free? You couldn't ask for anything better than this. Hello, Bringing the Heat listeners. This is your host, Regina Weston. For the month of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I will be strictly talking on topics that is related to domestic violence, coming from different lenses of domestic violence. I hope that you will learn something that can help you or someone else that is in a situation that is unhealthy. Please stay tuned. Thank you for tuning into Bringing the Heat with Regina Weston. Here we inspire and deal with topics that matter. Stay tuned. Hold up and wait a minute, Bringing the Heat listeners. To find out about all things Regina, visit my website at www.reginaweston.com. There you can purchase all my books and learn more about my nonprofit organization, which is Mending Hearts, Women Healing Women. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by using my Cash App, $R Weston 252. Now let's get into it. While She Stayed, a poem written by Nikita Gill. He's a storm, and storms devastate. But every time he hurts you, you hold your breath and bear the hurricane, repeating to yourself, one more chance, one more breath, just one more, and you'll fix him. Until one day you can't hold your breath anymore, and you are have a stormy evening. One tear-stained night, 2 minutes and 5 seconds away from breaking down. And you realize you cannot fix anyone. Not until you fix yourself. Many times, people that don't understand the dynamics of domestic violence will ask a victim, why don't you just leave? There are many reasons as to why people stay in abusive relationships. I am going to give you some information on that today. So the next time you see someone in a situation, don't judge them. Don't say, that was me. I would do this and I would do that. Because when you're in a situation, you really don't know what you would do. You're speaking from a hypothetical point of view. But when your life is in danger, you really don't know what you would do. Many people, many women stay in abusive relationships because of fear. They're afraid of what the person may do to them if they decide to leave. Maybe this person has told them, if you leave, I'm going to kill you. If you leave, I'm going to take my children. If you leave, I'm going to hurt your family. You do not know what that individual has been told to stay in a abusive relationship. Sometimes people are in relationships that they do not know are abusive relationships. Some people believe that what they're going through is normal. If you grew up in an environment that is chaotic, was chaotic, and violence is all you know, then it's normal to you. Sometimes people have fear of being outed. Someone that's in the LGBT community and they don't want other people to know their lifestyle. That person may be threatening them. If you leave me, I'm going to let people know that you're this and that you're that. Sometimes embarrassment or shame can keep a person in a relationship. Who wants other people to know that they are being abused, that they are being hit, that they are being talked down to? Who want people to know that? Many people wear masks. Sometimes low self-esteem keeps people in abusive relationships. They feel that the treatment that they are getting, that they deserve that kind of treatment. And the number one thing is, but I love him. Sometimes love keeps that person in that relationship. You know why? Because the relationship did not start out abusive. It gradually became abusive. There may have been some signs of abuse, but the person was not always abusive. Sometimes they're very nice, sometimes they're very charming, and you get sucked in to the vacuum of the dream that you are being sold. So a lot of times, love keep people stuck in relationships that are not healthy, that are not good for them, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Sometimes cultural or religious reasons are why people stay in abusive relationships as well. In their culture, the man may be the head, the dominant force. They believe in exerting power and control over their women. The women believe that she is supposed to be submissive. The man believes that if the woman steps out of line or makes him feel a certain type of way, that he has a right to put his hands on the woman. He has a right to speak down and belittle his woman. Sometimes it's the culture. It's their culture. That's what they believe. Sometimes it's the language barrier, immigration status. When people are in another country, maybe illegally, that individual that may have their green card, may have their papers, that they are documented, they may tell that person, if you leave me, I'm going to let it be known that you are not supposed to be here. And if that person is here because they're trying to make a better life for themselves, they don't want that to be threatened. Therefore, they stay in a bad situation because they don't want to go back to worse where they came from. Another thing, lack of money or resources. A lot of time, abusers use money as a way to dominate and to control their mate. We all know that money is what makes this world go round. You can't do nothing without it. And if you don't have it, who wants to be homeless? Who wants to be going through garbage cans looking for food? Especially if they have children. So they feel helpless. They have to depend on the breadwinner, therefore putting up with some things they don't want to put up with. Why? Because they feel as though they don't have no options. They feel as though they don't have no choice. Then you have the person that may be disabled, and the abuser is the one that kind of serves as the caregiver. If they are not in that relationship, who is going to take care of me? I need this individual. They are dependent on the abuser for their well-being. Therefore, they are connected to the relationship. It's not easy for people to just pick up and leave abusive situations. You don't always have all the information as a layperson, as a person looking through the window, making a judgment call on somebody else's life. You don't know why they are in that relationship. Many times, oftentimes, when a woman decides to leave an abusive relationship, she is really putting her life on the line, because when the abuser loses control, he in turn wants to take that young lady's life. You know why? Because if I can't have her, nobody will. So the next time you see an individual staying in the situation, don't judge them, don't call them stupid. Have some compassion for other people in their situation. You are not a therapist, and if you do not have a home or the resources to keep that person safe, keep your judgment off of them. However, if you are an individual under the sound of my voice that's in an abusive relationship, and you can identify with some of the reasons I have given as to why you stay in a relationship that is not healthy, I do want you to know you have the right to be treated with respect and not be criticized. You have the right to be safe. You have the right to disagree or assert yourself respectfully without feeling guilty. Meaning, you have the right to be treated the way you desire to be treated. You have the right not to be abused physically, emotionally, or sexually, or financially. You have the right to keep relationships with friends and family. You have the right to have your personal needs just as important as your partner's needs. It should be equal. It should be a balance. No one should be greater than the next person. And you have the right to fall out of love with an individual and not be held hostage to a situation. You have a right to be free and make a choice of what you want to be in or what you want to leave. For those that are in a position to help someone that you see being abused, let me give you some tips on how you can go about helping that person. First of all, as I said before, if someone comes to you with information, don't judge them. Listen to them. Believe them. Validate what they're saying. Let them know that you care for them and that you want them to be safe. And don't assume that the victim wants to leave the relationship or that you know what's best for them. Because, again, if you don't have the resources to take care of them, if you don't have a home to put them in, listen, don't judge. You're not walking in their shoes. And don't try to pressure them to make a quick decision. Again, quick decisions could cost them their life. However, if you see with your physical eye that the person is being abused in front of you, you are witnessing the assault, baby, pick up the phone and dial 911. That's the best thing that you can do for that individual. I hope that you have learned something today and that you would take the tips and the information that you have been given today to help that person. Be supportive. By you being supportive, may give that person the courage to leave the situation on their own. Now, if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by using my Cash App at $RWeston252. Now, until we meet again, go and grab yourself a mirror. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am loved, I am unique, and I am valuable. Now, give yourself a kiss. That's a kiss from me to you. Know that I love you and I got your back. Thank you, Bringing the Heat listeners. To listen to this podcast, go to anchorfm.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, where we bring